Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to today's video, and today I'll show you what others don't show you, which is the backend and how things work behind the scenes. In my first video in the channel, I went over how we made 145k in 30 days with a challenge funnel. In 30 days, we had 138k. But I went, a broad overview of what happened in the challenge funnel. So every single step that we took to achieve this end goal. This video is going to be really in depth on the behind the scenes of the backend where the money actually is. In my perspective, there's two really big important parts. Actually, there's three important parts. And the first one is the campaign. I really like the campaign. If you watch the video, I'm big into marketing, I'm big into campaigns. That's a topic that I'm going to be sharing with you guys very soon. And how you present this event to people. But there's a really important part, which is the second most important part, which is how you actually run the event in the backend, how you track the data, how you track each lead's journey, and how you make sure that you have the best possible result at the end of the event. That's the most important goal. You want to track when these people buy, if they won't buy, what's the stage there, to what make them buy, and who's bought your product and who didn't buy, why they didn't buy, and who are you tracking eventually, right? So that's basically what I'm going to be showing you. So three different phases: pre-webinar or pre-event, pre-challenge, whatever you want to call it, until the day that we did the challenge, the sales process to upsell people, and our CRM, how we made sure that we collected all the data throughout the challenge to make sure that we have enough data to make qualified and really solid decisions based on data. That's what I like. As a marketer, I love data. I'll really try to always get fresh data into the system so I can make solid and really informative decisions. That's the goal. So if you are new to the channel, what I'm always sharing here is what did work, what didn't work, what are we actively doing in my offers. So right now I manage three offers, and in this offer, it's an investment banking offer. We help people break into investment banking, and I'll be showing you guys what works for us, what didn't work for us, what I would, if I could go back, I would have done differently, and what are we actively doing to scale these to multiples, 6 figures per month. And the goal with this channel is to acquire talent, get opportunities, and network with other people. And also, if you'd like to partner with me, I do have my, the partnership with me and my team. And if you'd like to see if that makes sense for you, you can DM me on IG. But let's get into this without further ado. So first part is the sales process until the webinar. Then the second part is the sales process, and then we're gonna go over the CRM and the dialing system and how we did things. So one thing that I really like, and let me be honest with you guys, I'm not a really ops person or a tech person. I'm really big into marketing. I'm a marketer. I love marketing, and I'm pretty nice at sales. But I'm not a really techie and ops person. But I did still make it work. This is what we do. Okay, if you have suggestions, if you're better at this, if you have suggestions for how this could be work best, and you can always do things differently, and I'm always ears open to suggestions, of course. So if you want to ask me something or suggest something, you can always either comment or send me a DM. I'm always open to chat with you guys. So what happened here? YouTube and IG were our two lead sources, and we got them into the sales page. Sales page, we can collect the views and how much time they spend on that page to button. So we can see the conversion here was kind of low. I think it was click was a little bit less than 10%, which could have been way better. View page to opt to click to button to opt in was about less than 10%. Opt-in rate was about 22% opt-in rate. So once they click, they opt in 22%, and then opt-in to checkout was about 70%, 17%. So could have been better. We actually I'm trying to see if I can get a tool to track these better, but until now it's kind of we don't really use it that much. But in terms of opt-ins, this is where everything starts, because here we can collect the information and we can get them into our CRM. And once you get them to our CRM, there's two things. They can either check out and they tag non-buyer. So what we do track here is the time, the purchasing time, and we have. I'm gonna show you guys in our CRM how we do things. But basically, what I try to do is track the purchasing time and then how many opt-ins they do. So sometimes what happens is people opt in one time, they don't check out, so we refresh. We get that contact information. We begin with the tag, so we tag them in our CRM. We tag them. They go to the email sequence, auto SMS, and then they go to the sales page. But what we are trying to do is to try to get a phase in our CRM that says how many opt-ins they made and what was the purchasing time between the last opt-in they made to the actual checkout. So for example, if somebody opt-ins one time, they go out of the page, they opt-in twice, they opt-in the first time and then buy, we track every single part so we can know, okay, cool, how much, so this person opted 3 times and the third time they took 5 minutes to purchasing. And then we can have more information about if the opt-ins are successful and what's the average purchasing time. Okay, so this is uh, quite easy to do. It's really informative, and we try to do as much as we can in here. So once they check out, they go to the join the school. So what we noticed was that we had about 300 people joining. We actually had 300 people joining. We had 282 people joining the school. So there was about less than 10% of people. It was like about 8% of people who didn't join the school. And that's one of the problems that we noticed in the opt-in. So what we do is we track their email. If they opt in with the same email, we know they opt in a lot of times. So phone number usually we don't track. We use usually on the email, because then in the checkout, what tends to happen is somebody checkouts with an email that they don't use, and let's say the information on the checkout page is different from the information in the pop-out in the opt-in. So we track the checkout with the email, we track the opt-in with the email. If the emails are not the same, then there's something wrong here. So unfortunately, it is what it is. In the checkout page, what happens is some people, they buy with a certain email. All the automations after the checkout, they go to the email with which they purchased. So we always update the information to the latest information we got, but there's sometimes a little discrepancies between actual checkout, because then we need to assign the phone number. And if the email is not the same, then we can't know if who's that phone number. You know what I mean? So sometimes there's duplicated contacts. So we should try to fixing that part, but it is what it is. Sometimes, like with different emails, different contact information, it's kind of difficult to track. But okay, cool. So check out upsell page. They either go for the standard or VIP. We had this 18%. So we were expecting way more. We were expecting 20 to 30%. And we consider the VIP people more warm. So everything that we do after this, so for example, the setup call, we do assume that the VIP people are more warm than the other ones, simply because they spend more money with us. On the join the school, I'll join the school auto DM. We don't have anything to track the school, so if they reply, don't reply. We had actually a really good amount of replies, but that's not of our interest. About our interest is actually the numbers in the main funnel. So this one is a secondary follow-up funnel, but this one is really important. But before we get into this, if I could add something here, would be retargeting ads. We didn't do any paid ads. If we did this again, I would do retargeting ads for these people 100%. In this case here, we track how many standards VIPs. We send them to different thank you pages, but then they have a market research application. This is for us to have fresh data. As I said, I love fresh data. I love new data into the system. So we do have this, and you can use this to leverage who's on your events. So how we did this and how we built this form, it's kind of simple. It's just a comprehensive form uh, with a questionnaire that touches on the things that you need from your customers, so you know who's in your events. That's the mentality that on how we build these questions. So you just need to gather questions that tell you as much as you want from your ICP and from the people who go and watch the event. And we noticed that a few things on these people. So we notice a lot of them, they do know the theory and the theoretical side of things, but they have a lot of issues on execution. So we leverage these in the marketing campaign. This is actually a really crucial point, because no matter if they are standard VIP, we do collect the information. And then in the set a call, I'm gonna be explaining the CRM part, but in the set a call, they can leverage this situation. They receive the information from this lead, and then they can go deeper into that information by when they speak to the lead. Okay, so that's the first part. I hope this was clear. If you have any questions or anything at all, you can comment or send me a DM on IG. And the second part, we got the school, we got the event done. Let me explain something before we go into lead design. We in our system we differentiate people from buyers, VIPs, actually opt-ins, buyers, VIPs, and not interested. So in this call with the setter, in this setter call, we can receive a lot of information about where they are, where they want to be, and if they would be a good fit, or if they would want to learn more about the offer. So how we frame these calls is a consultation call, and at the end of this call, the setter tells them, okay, this might happen after the event. Would you be interested in an offer like this, or would you be interested in learning more how we could help you one on one, whatever? And if someone tells yes, we put them on a wait list. And if they tell us no, if they tell us no, or if they are not like maybe not, maybe whatever, we keep them on a different pipeline. This way, we can contact the leads once assigned. We can contact the waitlist leads first because we know they would be more interested. What we do also have is automation that when they book a call, they automatically move pipelines and stages. So this way, we are not redialing leads that book a call. But once the event is done, we reassign all the leads, no matter if they're done, not interested, interested, whatever, because people do change their mind. Okay, especially in the events. Before the event, they can be like, I don't know. During the event, they can become interested. After the event, they are maybe probably not interested, and then they see others winning. Okay, cool. Now I'm interested again. So always follow up with these people, no matter if they tell you no, if they don't tell you no, whatever, because they can become interested. They can become interested. So don't just make sure that you're tracking these on your CRM. You're tracking the pipelines, and you're making sure that these people are lost if they really tell you, yeah, fuck off. I don't I don't need anything like this. You know, at the moment, okay, cool. You won, bro. So we do have different things. So we have self booked, but self book is kind of easy to understand. Lead design, set of calls, the lead, and we have follow up, stages, and for the follow ups is called. So we have a 7-day follow up if they don't pick up the first day. And once they start a call, we have this router. I consider routers as okay. These people have different ways that can go. This is a router. Is more used for like let's say type forms or uh, automations, but in my perspective, like okay, they have the setter call. They can either disqualify or they can book a call. So the setter can books a call with us, with a lead. The process here is really simple. We just need to make sure that okay, cool, the script is optimized and is well done. You got to remember that these people, they know the stuff. They know the offer. The best thing you could do here is understand who you're calling. So you have 4 different people when you call in these events. Went to the call, booked the call. went to the call, didn't book a call, went to the call, not interested, watching the replay, or actually the fifth type, which is the, went to the event, didn't go to the call, didn't do anything at all. So you kind of got to see, okay, cool, I got these five types of people. And sometimes you got to put people in different stages depending on if this person is needs to be nurtured more. So I'm going to be speaking more about this in the CRM. But what sometimes happens is you call people and they need to watch the replay first. So you move them to a different pipeline. You tag them differently to make sure that we track them and we follow up them once it's time. We have this little tag which is the event nurture, because once you call them, especially because we have the third day on a Saturday, please guys do not do anything on Saturday. Please guys, not Saturday, not Monday, not Sunday, all right? But we had on the Saturday, and a lot of people was watching this on Sunday morning and on Monday. So if you call them on Sunday and they said, okay, cool, I still need to watch this. Okay, cool, I'm gonna call you back tomorrow or in 2 days. So set of calls, we send them the success page, we send them the resources, the closer call contract. What happens here in the closer call is we're going to see in the CRM, you have different stages after the call, which is okay, cool. No close, closed, second call, because sometimes we do two call system. Sometimes what happens in this niche when you're dealing with parents, when you're dealing with these types of people, sometimes people close after the call. So you send them the contract. Usually we take a little deposit. If the parents are on call, you can't close on the call. Otherwise, if you try to push the close, it will sound bad taste and it's not good at all. So if you're selling to these people, they bring their parents to the call. Do not close on the call. Just send them the contract, and then you keep up. What we're gonna do is kind of have a more structured two call system for this. Sometimes you don't need a two call. Sometimes we had examples where people went to the call, they're ready to buy, they bought. Other examples that they went to the call, they need approval from their parents. We can schedule a second call with the parents, and they know the price already. We can do a bunch of different stuff, but with the two call system that's structured, personalized to this specific offer, then we can have a more structured way of doing this. Either way, it went very well. Then in the contract, you can see if they saw the contract, if they didn't sign the contract, reasons haven't signed the contract, if they bought on the contract, if they bought on a follow up. There's different stuff here, but kind of summing up every single thing here. What I want you guys to understand is this can be different from this is how we did things. This is what we saw results with. But what I want you to take away from this first part of this video is that you should track your data. Your event will work fine as long as you have really good structure where you can build the event on. So the pre-events, the pre-webby, on webinar, the sales process is built on this infrastructure. So if you have data where you can track who was on the events, who watched the calls, who watched the replays, and you can track these people from A to Z, that's the best thing. You gotta be really efficient. You have limited number of people that you gotta work with, so you gotta be really, really, really big into efficiency and lead efficiency and speed to lead. So once you have the event, be really fast in contacting these people, okay, as fast as you can. And if they need more nurturing, you make sure that you tell your reps, or your reps have a system that can help them then follow up with these people. But you got to make sure that you have the system in place that's, and not only for these types of events, this is for when running ads, for when VSL funnels or free group funnels, for everything. Okay, you need to have an infrastructure that you can see in an overview and see where are the bottlenecks, where can be possible bottlenecks. For example, here I can see perfectly where can be bottlenecks. So here, here. Then we have here, which is like, okay, cool. We have two different ways where this can go. So you see, there's possible things that can happen, and if you have an overview of everything, you know your process, you know the data, you know every single part, and you can track everything. That's perfect. That's why I'm telling you this is where the money is made. It's not only the marketing, it's not only the actual sales, because the sales are supported by these infrastructure. Your reps need need sales operations, need a system where they can work on. So if you don't have a system, if you don't have a way to track the their inputs, their outputs, the leads journey, what's happening in your event or what's happening in your process, then you're cooked, literally. So let's go to the infrastructure. Okay, that's CRM infrastructure. And first, so once somebody opts, we have this webhook, send them to the GHL, select our kits, and then once they buy, we grab this hook. So from they buy it, and then they buy it, we grab their email sent to GHL. GHL, okay, create a webhook, send a webhook, creates in our work. So this is how I view things. There's I don't know, like probably hundreds of different ways of doing this. Okay, this is how I view things. This is how I build this process. It's not necessarily right. It's not necessarily correct, but this is how we view things, and that what work with us. Okay, so I view these two things as contacts and deals. That's pretty much it. So in GHL we have the pipeline, we have stages, and then you have the deals, and then you have the contact information and input fields, whatever, right? So this is what I do. We get somebody to opt in, and we grab their name, phone, email. Contact owner, setter sign, triage, owner, closer, assign. So each contact has this. So name, phone, email. What happens sometimes is, okay, somebody opt-ins, and opt-ins in our case was, for example, okay, you're gonna opt in, but we don't have an enough structure to get these people or to contact these people if they didn't buy the $27. So if somebody doesn't buy the first ticket, we just leave them in the CRM with the tag of opt-in, and contact owner is the first owner. The good thing about changing contact owners is that you can see the lead journey. What's the first people that they spoke with? So the first setter, the triaging, the closer. If you have a multiple, in our case, we had a really lean team. We have a multiple reps, or let's say dozens of reps. This is got really, really good because then you can track the multiple setters that spoke with this lead, the triaging owner, the closers, whatever. Okay. So setter assign, okay, simple. In our case, setter and the triage owner are the same people, and then we have the closer, who's assigned and who then we can track if the call is booking, if it's if it's a close, if it's a no close, whatever. Then we have these different tags and stages within these different properties within each contact, which is okay. uh O1 challenge, this is how we see these things. So O1 challenge stage, this is what I was talking about when somebody opt-ins. So we need to track the time. So we have something where it tells us, okay, first opt-in to purchasing time. And these resets, if somebody doesn't purchase right away, these resets every 2 hours. So let's say someone opt-ins, they don't buy, for 2 hours, we reset, and then we track this. We don't lose the lead. We only track how many opt-ins and what was the sales cycle, or actually the purchasing time within the first stage. So we keep the first stage going on and off, let's say, until they actually join us. So first stage opt-in, The stage is variable. It can vary depending on if they purchase one time, if it resets after the 2 hours. Then we can track how much time it was. Then challenge, standard ticket one, VIP ticket, and booked for when, and then we can track the sales cycle time. Okay, so a VIP passes through stage, opt-in S1, and then VIP. A booked call and a closed call goes through every single one of these. So this is where we can track the percentages and the rates between each one. And booked for is also something that I find interesting, that I can track the time between when they booked and then the sales cycle. So then I can see this person booked for 24 hours from now. Um, they had a better chance of closing. Okay, this person booked for 5 days from now, and this person is on follow-ups. And where did they actually close? And then okay, cool. We can track every single thing. So stage challenge or once challenge stage and booked for can be variable and can be from booked for when, and then we can track similarities on when uh, on deals. We can correlate to what was the time when they actually booked the call. And then we also ran this VSL funnel privately for after the challenge, where we have the VSL application, VSL booked for, same thing here. And then we can see if they applied, didn't book a call, and then they set a call, whatever. And then here, application one, application answer two, and a profile description one. What this is, application answer one is when they self book, and we have first application. Application two is in the VSL funnel. If they apply, they have a little application. We got the information there. And profile description one, the first thing that we do is once they submit the market research form, we fill out these little information input first with that the form information from that form. What happens is this information is available for the setter. So when the setter calls, the setter will refresh this profile description. So they're gonna add notes. Okay, cool. This person said this. Let me add more information. Then, if they book a call, the closer will have access to this information about this lead. Now, let's say this we didn't book a call, the seller calls them again, and let's say they get more information, they always change these according to what they said. The closer will have access to the information every time, every single time, all right? So yeah, these are three important custom fields because tell us a lot of things about each lead. There's a bunch of more going on here, but this is to help you guys understand on what happens in the contact parts, where we can track every single thing and we can track the rates between each one. And then we have a lot of tags. We control. We do change a lot of the things which depending on tags. Each stage usually has tags, and then from each tag that has automations, especially to track time and whatever. All right. So this is the contacts. So contacts is information about the lead, and then we go to the deals and we pass a lot of the information from these parts to the second part. And so the name, the phone, the email, the contact owner that always updates itself, set it assign, and the triage owner. Set it assign usually the same one. Triage owner usually the same one because it's our process. The closer we do not send them here, and we don't count here the closer because the closer it's a very direct process. So if they are responsible for close, we're gonna get that automatically. That that the column is they go to their side automatically, and we update the spreadsheets. So every single thing that's data related, it's put on the spreadsheet, and the information about the leads and the leads journey throughout the process is controlled and stored in the CRM. Okay. So what do we have in the deals? In the deal stage, deal pipeline, deal amount, set source. Set source, it's kind of easy for us because like challenge VSL, funnel, whatever. Deal amount, it's depending on. We usually differentiate the ticket, the first ticket to the high ticket. Then we have deals pipeline and deal stage. Deals pipeline have a bunch of different pipelines. We have the pipeline to control people from the actual event, from the opt-ins, and then we have two different pipelines for book calls. So in applications, so we have one for applications who didn't book a call, and then we contact these people. If they don't book a call, we have the VSL bookings. VSL bookings are not automatically confirmed. We only automatically confirm if it's a setter that books a call. Okay, if they need triaging, we have a different pipeline for triaging until they are confirmed, and we move them to the second pipeline. On the still stages, we have a bunch of them, but these are the most important ones. Call booked, call confirmed. Call confirmed, as I said, if it's a setter booking a call, we confirm automatically. If it's not, they require triaging. We have them on a different pipeline to then move them to the right one. No show, cancel, semi one. We do have something that help us in these with these calls. It's a $100 deposit. We track it, and sometimes we refund the deposit. Other times they get back to us to pay everything. Then we schedule hot follow up. Hot follow up are the ones that on the sales call they tell us that they need to get back to us or they want to do this in a month, 2 months, 3 months from now, and we make sure that we track that on the spreadsheet and on the CRM with automated reminders for us to hunt them again when it's time to get them on a call once more. And then event nurture is the one that I told you guys that sometimes happens. We don't use this that much, but sometimes happens. People do need to go through the event again, and sometimes they're not informed enough to go to the call. We don't want our calls to be educational calls, so we want to make sure that these people go through the event, they watch all the recordings, and they are good to go essentially. Then DQ close lost. We track every single thing on the sales calls, objections, and the what's the stage after the call. So after the call, there's different things. There's pending approval, there's closed one, there's semi one, and then there's the hot follow up as well, and there's the closed completely lost. Objections, we track every single one of the objections that possible can happen. And what we do have now is we have in the spreadsheet on a call tracker. Unfortunately, I can't show you guys because privacy things, you know. But we track every single one of the objections, and we have fields for this, and then we have a specific dashboard to track objections and what are the main objections that we got and we receive, so that we can adjust our pre-call workflows depending on those objections. So these are the deal stages, and here is the same thing. So we track every single thing so that the closer can have access to this information when it's time to close these people. A lot of times, this is really important. You want to personalize each lead's experience, and you want to personalize this lead's experience. And one of the pros of doing so is the data that you collect. So if you can pass the data from your team members around, so you can leverage this data throughout the process, that's better. That's incredible, and you're gonna have a really gonna notice the amount of closes that you guys make. Okay, and let me tell you guys, I'm not the best operator for this. I'm more of a marketer, and I like operations, but I'm not a really tech guy. This is how we do things. This is what worked for us. Not necessarily the right way to do this. There's probably hundreds of different ways to do this. This worked for us. Okay, if you have suggestions on how we could improve this and things that we could do more, of course, I didn't show the actual pipelines, but you kind of get the understanding of how we do things. Okay, if you have suggestions, you put them on the comments. No ego, no nothing. Just please tell me what you think, and if it's you'd like to try this, or if you have suggestions, whatever. Okay, you can always message me. And when it comes to the dialing system, it's quite simple, but it's really detailed. And to be fair, in my and from the feedback that I received from my reps, it's too. I would say that it's too organized. So we're gonna switch this to more open pipeline type of thing, and we control this via text and nodes rather than the pipelines and the stages. This way you can condense all leads into one, rather than having, let's say, for example, buyers and VIPs. Instead of having two pipelines and stages, you differentiate text and get them onto the same one, so that the dollars can just call them up straight away. uh, but what we have here is we have automations in the background that move. If let's say somebody books a call, they go to this one automatically, and they change once they book a call, and so that they are not redialed. And then we can track every single thing right here. And this is how we actually do the dialing. We have, as I said, automations in where to do it, and then we control the stats, and that the stats are really important. So how many leads is out? Okay, total dollars that we made. Pickups. This is per day, per week, per month. Pickups, pickup rates, meaningful convos percentage, sets down to set. So meaningful convos we count this as good conversations. And what's the main difference from what the meaningful convos to sets? Okay, so meaningful convo doesn't mean a set, but it can be a set. And then we can see, okay, cool, so meaningful convo, what's not a good conversation, what's a good conversation, what's a conversation that sets. And once we set, then down to set rates. And this way we can keep them in track. And on the spreadsheets, you control not only this, but you control the dialing and setting stats, the closing stats, and each rep stats and KPIs. And our sales tracker is for each rep, each closer, for the calls, for the payroll, so we can automatically get the reps depending on the sets. So if the rep set, we automatically put the comms on their page, on the payroll, and then we can control all the stats, the overview on a separate dashboard for each for the setting and for the closing. This is what worked for us. This is not necessarily the right way to do it. I hope you guys understood that this is how you should build a backend, not only for a challenge, not only for any event, but all the processes that you guys do. Okay, it's really important that you track all the data throughout the process. Okay, so if you're doing organic, you should dial in the process before you go into code. Once we go into code, you should go into code with the really dialed in process that that works, and you get access to all the data throughout the process. But in order to do it, you need to create this. Okay, and the way you should create this is you identify all the possible bottlenecks in each stage, and you have the right stages between. And once you put volume on this, you're gonna notice and more things you should add on, more things that you need to add to the process and track more and change and improve. So with volume, you'll notice a bunch more stuff that otherwise you wouldn't notice with the volume, right? So I hope you guys understood this. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please subscribe. That's the only thing that I ask you to. If you're a coach, if you're a creator, you'd like to launch or scale your info product to over 6 figures a month, please DM me on IG. I'm always happy to help you, or you can book a call below. If you have suggestions for videos, or you have questions, or you have comments, or if you'd like to give me your feedback on this video, you can do it in the comments. You can send me a message, of course. So guys, thank you for watching, and see you next one.